Hello my friends, welcome to Roja's Language YouTube channel. My name is Roya. You're watching our General English course level A2. In this course, I teach American English File 1, 3rd edition textbook. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so now so that you'll get the future videos of this course and a lot more about language learning. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Unit 4A, the family. So as always, we look at the overview of this unit. We will have a vocabulary section about family, grammar section about possessive s and whose, and we're going to clarify how we use them, where we use them. And we have a pronunciation section. We have a new sound and also the letter O and its sounds. And finally, we will have a listening and speaking section. So we'll begin with the Jackson family. You can see Jackson family tree in the picture. What is a family tree? As you can see, it's a tree. But the real thing is that it shows the relationships between people in a family. So for example, on the top we have Rob and Sarah, who are the grandmother and the grandfather, as it is obvious. And then we have their children. We have Nancy and Ed. And so each child, so they're not basically children. They are Rob and Sarah's children, but they have their own children as well. So that means they're probably middle-aged or young people. So Ed has a daughter, Amber, and Nancy has a son, CJ. And then Amber has a baby, and that's Ted. And CJ has a dog called Coco. So now we're going to complete the sentences, the relationships here. Who's Rob? Who's Sarah? Who's Ed? Etc. As you see in the sentences, we have apostrophe S. That is called possessive S. So it shows what someone has or what someone possesses. Let's look at Rob first on the top. Rob is somebody's husband, and that's Sarah. Rob is Sarah's husband. So this apostrophe S or possessive S shows that Rob is the husband of Sarah. Sarah has someone, and that's Rob. Let's look at the second sentence. Sarah is somebody and somebody's mother. So we have two people, two children for Sarah. Sarah is Ed and Nancy's mother. Then Ed is somebody's father. Ed is Amber's father. Nancy is somebody's sister. Nancy is Ed's sister because they are both Rob and Sarah's children. Nancy is somebody's mother. CJ's. Coco is somebody's dog. Again, CJ's. Coco is CJ's dog. And Ted is somebody's baby. Amber's. Section 1. Grammar. Now please open your book, American English File 1, and go to page 30. Unit 4A, Family Photos. So we start with a grammar section, and our grammar today is about possessive S and the question word whose. So I talked about possessive S a little bit in the previous slide. Now we're gonna figure out more about it, and we will also focus on the question word whose. But before we start, tell me, do you read magazines like People or Entertainment Weekly? If yes, what kind of people are in them? So I can talk about Entertainment Weekly magazine a little bit. The magazine's topics include film, television, music, theater, books, and pop culture. So we can expect to see famous people in this magazine, like celebrities, actors, musicians, singers, etc. Now, with that in mind, please look at the title of the article on your book and the photo of dog. So you can see dog in the photo. I also have a photo of him here on the slide. The title is I'm Not Famous, but My Brother Is. So who do you think his brother is? Do you think it's good or bad to have a famous person in your family? So now read the article and then you will figure out who Doug's brother is. Please give yourself 2 to 3 minutes to read the article and pause this video while you do this. Now, do you know who Doug's brother is? His brother is the actor Brad Pitt. And does he like having a famous brother? Yes, he does. Now I'm gonna read the article for you. You can also practice reading it aloud so that it will help your pronunciation and also your reading skill. I'm not famous, but my brother is. Doug is a businessman and a photographer. He is also the founder of Care to Learn, an organization that helps poor children in the US do well in school. He's married with 3 children, and he and his family have a normal life. But for many people, he is always Brad Pitt's brother. So you should write Brad Pitt in the gap. Now let's look at this paragraph. Maybe I can explain a little bit more of the idea and the words and what it really says. So Doug is a businessman and a photographer. Businessman, photographer are both jobs. So what does he do? He does business as a businessman and he takes photos. And he's also the founder of Care to Learn. So Care to Learn is the name of an organization and he's the founder. It means he opened this organization. And this organization helps poor children do well in school. He's married with 3 children. So that means he's married and he has 3 children. You can also say like, I'm married with 2 children. That means I'm married and I have 2 children. And he and his family have a normal life, but for many people, he's always Brad Pitt's brother. That means maybe people don't really see him as who he is, like a successful businessman and photographer, but as Brad Pitt's brother because Brad Pitt is more famous than he is. So let's go for the second paragraph. Doug's life can be difficult. People follow him on the street. They ask him questions about his brother's ex-wife, who is also very famous, and their 6 children. The paparazzi follow Doug's children and take photographs. So I think everything is clear in this paragraph. Maybe I just explained the word paparazzi for you. It means the photographers who follow famous people everywhere they go, and they take photographs of them for newspapers and magazines. Sorry, I think I mispronounced the word photographer. It's photographer. So let's look at the third paragraph, but it also has advantages. I go to movie premieres and I meet famous actors, and when I call people and ask for money for Care to Learn, it helps when I say I'm Brad Pitt's brother. So movie premiere here means, or generally better say the word premiere, means the first public performance of a play or any other type of entertainment. So here it means the first public performance of a movie. Now, the last paragraph. Dog is not jealous of his older brother. He's happy with his life. I see the world of famous people from the outside. I can live it, but my brother can't. Sorry, I can leave it. Yeah, this word is leave, not live. Because when you say live, the short word, it's L-I-V-E. But this is leave, means let go. I can leave it. It means I can let go of this life, but my brother can't because he is famous. So dog is not jealous. Jealous means envious. Means he doesn't feel sad or bad that his brother is famous and he is not. He's actually happy with his life. Now, on the same page and the same section, please look at part C on the right side of the page. Look at some photos of actors with family. So here we have 5 photos. Carey Mulligan, we have Meryl Streep, Jake Gyllenhaal, Will Smith, and Mary-Kate Olsen. And you can also see their family members. Now, please choose A or B in the 5 sentences that follow. For example, number 1, the man who is with Carey Mulligan. He's Carey Mulligan's husband or brother? What do you think? Please do this in 30 seconds. Let's check now. So number 1, he's Carey Mulligan's husband. Number 2, she's Meryl Streep's daughter. Number 3, she's Jake Gyllenhaal's sister. 4, he's Will Smith's son. And 5, he's Mary-Kate Olsen's husband. All right, now let's go to page 130, Grammar Bank 4A, to learn more about possessive S or apostrophe S and the question word whose. So on this page, we have 4 examples. You can also listen to track 4.2, but the important thing is that you need to repeat them out loud. You can also listen to me and repeat after me. It doesn't make any difference. So, number 1, he's Brad Pitt's brother. It's James's laptop. So as you see in both cases, we have apostrophe S. So the first one is like a normal way. Brad Pitt is a name, and then we add apostrophe S. So that means the brother belongs to Brad Pitt, or the brother of Brad Pitt. But it's James's laptop. So here we have a name, James, that already ends in S. So when it is like that, we add apostrophe S and then the pronunciation changes to is. So we say James's laptop. Number 2, it's my parents' car. So again here we have the word parents, which already ends in S, but there is a difference between parents and James. James is a name, but parents is a plural noun. So when we have a plural noun, we don't add apostrophe S to the word. We just add an apostrophe. So parents, the plural word, and then we have an apostrophe, and that's enough. And the pronunciation will be the same as parents. It's my parents' car. Number 3, whose bag is this? It's Maria's. So whose is the question word to ask about somebody's possession. So when I say whose bag is this, it means who does this bag belong to? Who is the owner of this bag? And the answer, it's Maria's. The first apostrophe S is not possessive S here. It's the verb is. So it's actually it is. Yeah. So it's the contracted form of it is. So you need to be careful not to confuse them. And the last one, the last example, the end of the movie is fantastic. I live near the city park. So here we have of, because we normally don't use a thing with apostrophe S. When we have a thing, not a person, we use of. For example, the class. We say the end of the class. We don't say the class's end. Yeah, that's not normal. Or the city park. We don't say the city's park. In this case, we just say city park. It's just a word like that. Now, there is also a box you can see on this page in part 4a about apostrophe S, whose and whose. So let's start with apostrophe S. It says be careful with apostrophe S. It can be two things, like Maria's mother. So here it's the possessive S, or Maria's Spanish. So here it is the verb is. So we need to be careful. We need to pay attention to the meaning of the sentence to understand that. And also with whose and whose, which have the same pronunciation but are different words. So when you hear them again, you need to pay attention to the meaning of the question. So sometimes it is who is. So that's who's that girl? She's my sister. It means who is that girl? But sometimes it's whose, meaning of who, is asking about possession. Whose bag is this? It's Jack's. But they are, as I said, pronounced the same. So you need to pay attention to the meaning of the question. Now it's your turn to put what you learned into practice. Please look at the next page, page 131, 4a, part A. Look at the pictures and answer the questions with a short sentence. For example, whose laptop is this? You can see the laptop with Ryan, so it's Ryan's laptop. Please do this in 3 to 4 minutes. Let's check. Number 1, whose cars are these? They're Blake's cars. So because cars is a plural word, we need to start with their, not it is. Number 2, whose wallet is this? It's Blake's wallet. Be careful that it's is it is. So this apostrophe S is not possessive S. Number 3, whose magazines are these? They're Ryan's magazines. 4, whose watch is this? It's Blake's watch. And 5, whose glasses are these? They're Ryan's glasses. Now go for part B. Circle the correct form. Monica Cruz is Penelope's sister or sister's Penelope. Of course, the first one is correct. Penelope's sister. The owner always comes first, and then we have apostrophe S. Now please do the others in 2 minutes. Let's check them. Number 1, it's my mother's birthday. 2, that's her parents' house. So it would be the second one. S comes before apostrophe for a plural word. 3, I'm tired when I go home at the end of the day. Number 4, those are my sister's friends. Number 5, the door of the classroom is open. And number 6, those are the students' desks. Now go for part C and complete with whose, the question word for possession, or whose, which means who is. Do this in 2 minutes. Let's check now. Number 1, whose book is this? 2, whose phone is that? So both of them possessive whose. 3, who's your favorite singer? 4, who's Kevin's girlfriend? So 3 and 4 are who is actually. Number 5, whose bag is this? Possession. Number 6, who's their English teacher? Who is. All right, now please go back to page 30 and look at part F. You can see some objects like a bow tie, a watch, a bag, glasses, and a ring. So these things belong to the people you saw in the photos in part C. We need to answer questions, ask and answer questions. For example, whose bow tie is this, or is it? And the answer is, it's Will Smith's bow tie. Now I want you to answer me. Whose watch is it? Whose bag is it? Whose glasses are they? Whose ring is it? So, it's Jake Gyllenhaal's watch, it's Carey Mulligan's bag, there are Meryl Streep's glasses, and it's Mary-Kate Olsen's ring. Section 2, Vocabulary. So in this section, we will focus on vocabulary, and you need to go to page 155, the vocabulary bank, with the topic family. So for part A, you need to look at the 2 family trees. I already told you what the family tree is. And number the people in relation to Richard. So in the list of numbers, you can see the relationships. For example, father, mother, brother, sister, etc. And we need to look at Richard and number the people in relation to Richard. For example, number 1 is father. So who is Richard's father? Exactly, Gary. Gary is Richard's father. So we put number 1 for Gary. Please do this in 2 minutes. So let's check now. We have number 1. Gary is Richard's father. Number 2, Carol is Richard's mother. Number 3, Stephen is Richard's brother. 4, Kate is Richard's sister. Number 5, Chloe is Richard's daughter. Number 6, Jake is Richard's son. Number 7, John is Richard's grandfather. 8, Jennifer is Richard's grandmother. Number 9, Sue is Richard's aunt. Number 10, Nick is Richard's uncle. 11. Oliver is Richard's nephew. 12. Robbie or Ruby is Richard's niece. 13. Hugh is Richard's cousin, and also Sarah is Richard's cousin. And number 14, Emma is Richard's wife. Now for part B, you need to complete numbers 1 to 5 with these words: children, couple, grandparents, parents, or parents-in-law. So as you see, the underlines and the words show the stress. Like children, the stress is on the first syllable. Couple, again first. Grandparent, first. Parent or parents-in-law, again first. Now, number 1, my father and my mother are my parents. So you write parents in the gap. Number 2, my wife's mother and father are my parents-in-law. And the same is true for my husband's mother and father. That's the same, parents-in-law. My grandfather and my grandmother are my grandparents. Number 4, my son and my daughter are my children. And number 5, a husband and wife are a married couple or just a couple. You can also listen to track 4.3, maybe hear the sentences and repeat so that you will get better at pronunciation. There is also a green box there in part C, more family words. Let's look at that. We have my wife's mother or my husband's mother, that would be the same, is my mother-in-law. My husband's sister or my wife's sister would be my sister-in-law. And the same is for brother, like my husband's brother or my wife's brother is my brother-in-law. My mother's new husband, so if your mother, if you don't have your father, maybe your father is divorced or maybe your father is dead, your mother marries a new man, your mother's new husband is your stepfather. And also, if your father marries a new woman, then we say, she is my stepmother. My father's new wife is my stepmother. And the person I'm in a relationship with is my partner. So if you're a woman and you have a man in your life, that would be your partner. If you are a man and if you have a woman in your life, again, that woman will be your partner. So partner can be a man or woman. Doesn't make any difference. Now, unlike in some other languages, we don't use the masculine word in the plural to refer to masculine and feminine family members. So brothers only refers to males, to the men, or like sisters refers to the females. For this reason, we usually ask, do you have any brothers and sisters? Now we can also practice with this family tree or these family trees and ask some questions and answer them. For example, tell me, who's Jennifer? The right answer is, she's Richard's grandmother. So you say the relationship. Now tell me, who are Sue and Nick? They're Richard's aunt and uncle. So you tell me, who's Kate? She's Richard's sister. And who's Jennifer? She's Richard's grandmother. Who are John and Jennifer? They're Richard's grandparents. So remember, when you ask about one person, you say he is or she is, and then the relationship. But if you ask about two people, two or more, then you have to use they are. Now, back to page 31, section 2, vocabulary. We have part B, and in this part, we have some questions that we need to answer as well. So, who's number 1? Your mother's mother. That's easy to answer now. My grandmother. Who's your father's brother? My uncle. Who's your brother's daughter or your sister's daughter? Niece. Exactly. So if your brother or sister has a daughter, a girl, then she is your niece. Number 4. Who's your aunt's child? My cousin. Who's your husband's brother or your wife's brother? Brother-in-law, my brother-in-law. And number 6, who's your niece's brother? My nephew. So if your brother or your sister has a son, a boy, then he is your nephew. Section 3, pronunciation. So in this pronunciation section, we have a sound, and so the sound is the sound, a very short and we also have a letter O, which we will talk about in the next slide. But let's focus on the sound for now. In part A, you're going to listen to the words and the sound, and then listen and repeat. So you can listen to track 4.4 or simply listen to me and repeat. Please try to copy exactly as I say the sound and the words. Up. So the sound is Mother, brother, son, husband, uncle, couple, cousin. So now let's look at the explanation. Is the most common, maybe better say that the most common spelling for the sound is when we have a U between consonants. For example, up, husband, son, etc. So like the word husband, we have the h sound, which is a consonant, and we have the z sound, which is another consonant, and between them we have the sound, husband. But sometimes the letter O can also make this sound, as in some family words like mother, brother, etc. And also the letters OU when they come together, like the word young. Now let's look at the letter O, which can have different sounds. The two most common pronunciations of the letter O are these two, and O. So we can have like clock and O like phone. And the two less common sounds are the sound as I told you in the previous slide with the example mother, and oo like the word boot. In the green box in your book, you can also see some other examples. The box that says remember. So here we have not, which is the first sound like clock, not, and then we have photo as an example for the O sound. And then we have like mother, as I told you, and we also have to, the oo sound. Now look at part B. We have a list of words. How is the letter O pronounced in these words. You can see the list, and you need to put them in the correct column in the table of sounds. So we have the A sound like clock, we have the O sound like phone, we have the A sound like up, and the U sound like boot. Some examples are already done for you. For example, doctor, that goes to the first column, don't, second column, come, third column, and do is the last column. So please do this in 2 minutes. Let's check now. So we have clock with the A sound, and the examples are doctor, hot, job, model, and stop. And then we have the O sound with phone, don't, go, home, no. We have the A sound, up, come, London, money, one. And the last one, boot, the U sound like do and who. You can also listen to track 4.5, hear them, and practice saying the words. But in part D, we have conversations. So we can practice these conversations and focus on the pink letters, the pink O letters that have different sounds in different words. So maybe the first time I will play A and you will play B, and we will say the sentences, ask the questions, answer them, have this conversation, and pay attention to the sounds. So let's start. I'll start with conversation 1. I'm A, you're B. Who's that? She's very young. Now, you play A, I will be B. Please start. My mother. No, she's 61. She's a doctor. Let's go for 2. I be A, you are B. Who are they? Do they live in London? Now let's change. You're A and I'm B. Please start. My brother and his son. No, they don't. Let's go for 3. I'm A, you're B. What's her job? Now you're A, I'm B. Please start. She's a model. She earns a lot of money. Section 4, listening and speaking. So, welcome to the last section of this unit. Let's look at page 31, section 4, listening and speaking. And you can see 3 pictures. We have Mark, Celia, Carlos and Daniel in the middle, and Tim, Miriam, Alex, and Helen on the right. Okay, let's look at part A. You can see a table. You will listen to Grace showing a friend photos on her phone. And we have 3 people. We have Mark, Celia, and Miriam in her phone. And you need to complete the first row of the chart by listening to track 4.6. So you listen and then you complete the first row. You need to write the relationship between each of the people, Mark, Celia, and Miriam, with Grace. So the relationship between them and Grace. For example, we already know that Mark is Grace's boyfriend, but you need to complete the row for Celia and Miriam. Please listen to track 4.6, pause this video, and then after that we will check the answers. Time to check the answers. Celia is Grace's sister, and Miriam is Grace's sister-in-law. Now, please listen again, and this time try to write down more information about the people. For example, their ages, their jobs, where they live, etc. Again, pause this video and do it, and then we will check the information. So what I have here for the information about Mark, for example, he's good looking, he's 26, he's a medical student at Indiana University School of Medicine, and he loves it. We have some information about Celia. She looks like Grace. She's 35. She has 2 sons. Carlos is 2. Daniel is 6. They are her sons. And they live in Chile. And about Miriam, she's married to Tim, Grace's brother. Tim is a lawyer. Miriam is a teacher. Their children are Helen, who is 13 months old, and Alex, who is 4. So if you need, you can listen to the audio file more times just to make sure you understand everything. We can also look at a transcript here. You can also find it in the student book on page 119, or you can just here look at a slide. We have A for Anna, G for Grace. Let's go through it. Who's that? That's my brother Mark. He's good looking. How old is he? 26. What does he do? So this question, what does he do? Again, this question means what is his job? It's not asking what he's doing now. It's not asking about the action, but it's asking about his job. So the answer is he's a medical student. He finishes this year, I hope. Where does he study? At Indiana University School of Medicine. Does he like it? Yes, he loves it. You see, all the questions and answers are in simple present form. And this is my sister Celia and her kids. So kid means child. Kids means children. It's just a more informal word. Ah, she looks like you. Look like is a verb here. She looks like you means she has a similar appearance to you. Maybe she has the same eyes, the same hair color, same nose, same skin color, so the same appearance. Yes, she does. How old is she? She's 35. How old are the children? Carlos, the little one, is 2, and Daniel, the older one, is 6, I think. They live in Chile, so I don't see them very often. Is that another sister? No, she's my sister-in-law, Miriam. She's married to my brother, Tim. And what does Tim do? He's a lawyer, and Miriam's a teacher. How old are their children? Alex is 4 and Helen's 13 months now. They're so cute. So how about you and Mark? When's the wedding? Wedding? No thanks. I'm too young. So wedding is a ceremony when 2 people get married, a man and a woman, like a couple, for example, get married. And I'm too young means I'm too young to get married. It means I'm not old enough yet to get married. The word too comes before an adjective, and it shows that something is too much, more than you need or more than you want. So when you say I'm too young, it means I'm very, very young, and that's not a good age for getting married. That's why we use too. So too has kind of a negative vibe. So on the last slide, I have some homework for you. I want you to choose 3 photos of your friends or people in your family members, and talk about them. You can answer these questions like, who are they? So you say the relationship between you and that person, and how old is, for example, your friend, your sister, your brother. You talk about their ages. What do they do? For example, what does he do? What does she do? So you talk about their jobs, and you can give any information you like, just as a speaking practice. It's always a good idea to record yourself while speaking and then listen to the audio file and see how you can make it better. What mistakes did you have? Or what things could you say that you didn't? And then try to repeat the exercise again, and this time you will get better at it. پس همیشه بچه‌ها برای تمرین اسپیکینگ یه ایده خیلی خوب اینه که وقتی دارین صحبت میکنین صداتون رو ضبط کنین و بعدش به صدای خودتون گوش کنید، ببینید چه ایرادایی داشتین، چه ایرادایی میتونین پیدا کنین، چجوری میتونین اونا رو برطرف کنید و بهتر صحبت کنید و دوباره یه بار دیگه این بار با دید بازتری و این بار با این هدف که اون ایرادات رو برطرف کنید دوباره صداتون رو ضبط کنید و صحبت کنید. یه چند بار که این تمرین رو تکرار بکنید در نهایت یه صحبت خیلی خوبی ازش در میاد.
Alright my friends, thank you for learning with me today. If this video was useful for you, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to join us on Instagram, TikTok, and especially Telegram, where we upload extra points and exercises related to the course. Wish you a great day and see you in the next lesson.